Why, hello there, and thanks for joining us for Confessions and Convictions. I bet you probably missed it the last few days, and you're probably wondering, where is he? Has he forgotten? I haven't forgotten. I was dog sitting at a friend's house with my wife, and so we were gone out of town for a few days. But here we are. It's time for Stories of Great Christians. I believe we're on chapter 3 of R.G. LeTourneau, interesting businessman who heard the call of the Lord and also lived off very little of the money he earned, although he made quite a bit of money. So you might want to hang around and listen to his story. Let's take a look, see where we are, and hear from him. And hopefully we hear from you. So you can leave us a comment, or you can hit subscribe if you pull up a chair for a friend, and be a regular. Now here we go.
Stories of Great Christians. From the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago, we bring you Chapter 3 of Mover of Men and Mountains, the story of Robert Gilmore LeTourneau. Quite a few of us survived the earthquake of 1906 in San Francisco, the fiery Holocaust that followed. All I could do was thank the Lord for his gracious care and love. I was 18, without my family, they were still up in Oregon, and without a job. The foundry I'd worked for had burned to the ground in the firestorm that followed the earthquake. Come to think of it, that was the second foundry I'd worked for that had burned. Well, I did find work for a time at another ironworks that hadn't been damaged, and although it didn't burn down to the ground, I was let go because there just wasn't enough work to be done. You'd think construction work would have really been booming in San Francisco, but it wasn't. I got another job in a factory making elevators across the bay in Oakland. But again, nobody seemed to be building anything, so they sure didn't need elevators. So yours truly was looking for work again. I was now a full-fledged member of the Ironworkers Union. No more apprenticeship for me, but that didn't seem to make any difference. Then the panic of 1907 hit the West Coast so hard that the banks closed without bothering to ask if they had been hurt. Things were so bad, I heard they were making misfortune cookies in San Francisco's Chinatown. I walked the streets for days. You couldn't buy a job, even if you could have gotten your money out of a bank to buy it with. That's when I got a letter from my brother Bill.
Bill's the kind of boy that'll go out in the morning with a jackknife and come back for supper on a bicycle.
That's what my dad thought of Bill. I guess you could call him an entrepreneur. Anyway, Bill got me to come out to some land that he had bought near the town of Rex in Oregon.
Looks pretty good, doesn't it, Bob?
Well, if you like cut-over land, it's nice, I guess. You sure got a lot of stumps here.
Which is what I want you to pull up. That's what I'll pay you for. Won't be much, but will be a job.
How much land do you have here?
Full section.
And I guess I'm on my own. The lumberman left that lone tree over there, which I guess I'm supposed to use as a spar. You are paying cash. I found a quarry that was closing down and bought a few drums of cable, some pulleys, and an old steam-powered engine known thereabouts as a donkey engine. A burro engine would have been more like it. Anyway, I used that lone tree as a spar, attaching my pulleys there, and began pulling up those stumps. I tried all sorts of tricks, rigging up a network of cable that did real fine until the cable snapped, knocking out half of my front teeth and wrapping itself around me like a panting snake. My dental bill just about equaled what I'd made on that job, but I did learn something. I learned it wasn't smart to work in the wilderness by yourself. A man, when he's doing dangerous work, ought to have a partner. I next worked for the Yerba Buena Power System, where we had to clean huge lead batteries to provide the direct current that the streetcars required. And I learned about welding in the process. Became a bricklayer, a bridge builder. Helped my dad and Uncle Joshua Jehoshaphat clear some land, too. Chopping trees this time. I made enough money to buy my first motorcycle. And I had 100 cords left over. I was into so many things, but here I was, 21 years old, wondering who I was and what I really wanted to make out of my life.
What are you doing, son?
I'm going to send off for some information about a correspondence school.
You trying to go back to school?
No, this kind of school you carry with you. You get the lessons by mail.
Well, what do you want to study?
Automobile mechanics, I think. Maybe that way I'll be able to keep my motorcycle running. And so it was that one day I found myself in Stockton, California. No special reason for that, I guess, except that I believe the Lord had a hand in leading me there. I'd been working on this bridge spanning the Stanislaus River. The bridge was finished, and I crossed it to have supper in Stockton. I debated heading back to Oakland at night over a dirt road, and I suddenly decided I wasn't in any hurry. I was out of a job again, so why not spend the night in Stockton?
Bob! LeTourneau! Bob LeTourneau!
Oh, well, I'll be if it isn't old man Jensen. I haven't seen you in 2 or 3 years.
This is the foundry days in San Francisco.
Hey, what are you doing here?
Cap here. We got us a garage. Cap and my partner here.
Hi.
Hi.
Railway mechanics.
Well, now if that isn't a coincidence, so am I.
Well, you're pretty young to be an automobile mechanic.
Well, I've taken 4 correspondence courses in auto mechanics.
Is that all you know? What about your experience? I sort of get the idea you might be looking for work.
Now, I can take a motorcycle apart and put it together in a day.
Well, we don't handle motorcycles.
Are you looking for a job, Bob?
Sure am.
Well, he was a good worker when I knew him, Cap.
Well,
We could use a night man. Somebody to answer the phone, clean up the place, wash and polish cars, tow in the stalled cars. You wouldn't exactly be a mechanic.
what's your name again?
Robert LeTourneau.
You really want the job?
Yes, sir.
All right. You can have it.
Thanks. I just don't know what else to say. So a new career began. Mostly I rescued customers whose cars had broken down. I worked nights and spent much of the day watching and learning from the 2 mechanics. Fortunately, I didn't need too much sleep. Of course, if a clutch had to be removed or a new transmission installed, old Bob here came in handy. Yes, sir.
You're the mechanic?
I'm the man you called, yes.
Yeah, get to work on it. I've got house calls to make.
Left-handed Cadillac.
I've been calling it some other things. Why left-handed?
Because you crank 'em up backwards.
I know that from personal experience. And I put casts on plenty of crank-handle brakes. Well, when are you going to get started?
Well, I only came to tow your car, Doctor.
Tow it, I want it fixed.
Well, I'm only the night man. I'm not supposed to work on expensive cars.
Why did they send you?
Nobody else, I guess.
I paid a lot of money for this car, and I don't want any second-rate mechanic wrecking it for me. You think you can fix it?
Well, it depends.
We've already taken out the spark plugs and put them back.
Well, let me check your carburetor. I can clean them pretty good. There's lots of rust in our gasoline around here. It plugs up the needle valve. Well, let's give it a turn or two, Doctor.
Okay.
Why don't you advance the spark for me?
All right.
Well, I did it.
You sure did. But, young man, you know your stuff.
Bob, you sure made a hit with a doctor.
And now he insists on only you working on his car.
And he's sending some of his friends over to our place now.
And so I guess we just better promote your daytime mechanic.
Oh, thanks, Cap. You too, Mr. Jensen. I'll just try that out for a while. Hi, Parks. Why aren't you at work?
You know, Bob, you and me ought to be partners.
Well, I don't know, Parks. It doesn't seem fair to Captain Jensen.
Sure took him a long time to realize how good you were. Hey, besides, you know, my dad says there's room in Stockton for another garage.
Well, that much is true.
Ah, we could do it, Bob. You know, you're the mechanic.
Oh, and you're the salesman, that's for sure.
All we need to get the Regal franchise is $2,000. I got my 1,000.
I've still got 100 cords of wood to sell up in the hills. They ought to be worth $10 a cord.
There's your 1,000.
That Regal's a real road scorcher.
It'll sell better to Saxon or the White Streak.
All we need to do is engender a little excitement, showing everybody what the Regal can do. Maybe at the county fair.
I got a name for our garage. Superior Garage. Now, how's that for size?
Might as well start at the top. How about a location?
Right on Main Street, near the corner of information, education, salvation, and damnation.
What?
Well, there's the telephone exchange. That's information. The business college is education. And the YMCA is salvation.
And the town jail is damnation.
Yeah.
Parks, you're really something. And you've got yourself a partner. There. That'll do it.
You're really going to drive up that stairway?
That's what I promised the fairground officials. 30 feet up, 30 feet down, not an inch to spare on either side. That ought to sell a few Regals, don't you think? No other dealer will match us.
No other dealer has the nerve. Bob, what'll you do for an encore?
Huh?
Well, what'll you do at the fair next year?
One fair at a time, all right? We'll think of something when the time comes. Next year, in 1912, we entered a Regal with the regular racers. Racing a stock car was something new in those days. We also imported a driver with the unlikely name of Percy Arthur. Percy thought I ought to be able to put a bit more fire in that engine. So I opened the apertures and the carburetor, added some fancy new spark plugs and an air scoop, and changed the worn-out tires. We really moved around that track, trying her out before the big race. The only trouble was, the Regal wouldn't corner. At least not the way Percy was accustomed to driving. Hey, Percy! Watch that outside fence! What are those curtains doing, fluttering around? I don't have any curtains in my room.
You're in a hospital, Mr. LeTourneau.
And you're a nurse.
That's right. Now, you're not to move around. And I'm to tell the doctor that you're awake.
I think I remember now. What happened?
Your car crashed.
What happened to Percy, to the driver?
He's fine.
Fine?
He was unconscious, but no broken bones.
And me?
Well, that's why you must lie still. You have a broken neck.
I learned later that Percy was still steering for the next lap when they pulled him out of the wreckage. At first, the ambulance crew thought I was dead. And in those days, before doctors knew much about traction or padded collars, a broken neck was serious business. I'm telling you all this to make this point. I guess I was what you'd call an accident-prone individual. Since I was a young boy, when I dove on that rock in Lake Superior, wrapped myself with that cable pulling out those stumps, you remember? I haven't bothered to tell you how I put an axe into my leg chopping wood, or the spills I took on my motorcycle. I took chances. I had very little fear, and it was silly. I don't think I led a charmed life like some folks allowed, but God certainly watched over me in ways that were simply marvelous. And He spared me to grow up emotionally and get a little more sense, be the man He intended me to be. But for a while, in fact for a good many months, I had a very sore and painful neck to remind me that I'd better learn to take it easy and trust the Lord. And so we conclude Chapter 3 of Mover of Men and Mountains, the story of R.G. LeTourneau. This is another in the series, Stories of Great Christians, produced by the Department of Broadcasting of the Moody Bible Institute in Chicago.
Well, there you have it. We concluded another chapter, and onward we go tomorrow to chapter 4. Till then, may the Lord bless and keep you. Good night, and God bless.